All right, so it has been about 3 months since we last talked, I believe. We did a post TI episode, right?
Yeah, that's when we got Zai and Matu, I believe.
Yeah, we talked about the new liquid. So the last episode was new liquid, and now this episode is going to be Liquid Champions of Western Europe Division 1.
Yup. It's pretty exciting.
Yeah, pretty exciting and then kind of a downer with no major, right?
I mean, it's just my life. It's like, we do well, and then it leads to nothing. And I don't know. I think, it's, when we first made the team and we joined Liquid, we put a lot of effort into doing, like, making those first two majors and, like, doing well at those first two majors. And we got
Uh-huh.
top 6 at both, which is not 100%, but very likely qualified us to TI.
Yeah.
And then it's like disappointment of not getting it and kind of being in limbo for such a long time and then not getting it, I think killed me inside a little bit. It's like, I don't know. It's hard to like the energy. And that was tough. And it's like, you got to go do it all over again.
Hmm.
I'm not like 20. I'm not like motivated in the same ways that I used to be when I was younger, where I just have the world is my oyster and time is effortless. And, I can always look towards the long goals and stuff. Like I'm 31 now. I was 30 when the whole TI cancellation thing happened. I don't want to do this forever. I feel quite strongly about that. So, yeah, but it is what it is. And, I don't want to just sit here feeling sorry for myself because people have it way worse than I do. And at the end of the day, I still get to do something pretty fun with my life. So, it is what it is.
Now, you say like it sounds like to me there's a lot of burden coming with coaching, but from what I've read on Reddit, it sounds like you're just there to give back rubs to the players. What's so taxing about that?
Yeah, it's weird. Like, they just don't fire me for some reason. I have no idea. It's like a charity job at this point.
Oh, that's really nice of them.
It's really sick, actually. I mean, I guess that's I voiced my frustrations at that towards you, but it was more just I felt good because we won the league. I
Yeah.
was happy and I was popping off, but in reality, like, you know, realistically speaking, and I think we were talking about this, nobody has any idea what any coach does. And
Yes.
if you say you do, you're straight up lying. Like, you don't know the day to day at all. And so you can assume it, but some people are giga confident, like, this guy does this, and this guy does this, and this guy does this. You have no idea.
Yeah, the hipster shout out to like, oh, we can't forget about the coach.
Yeah,
He's an integral part of the team. Like, like I see the Reddit comments. I see it from some analysts who say it, or they're just like, but we can't. A crucial part of the team is the coach. Listen, I've only done that with one coach ever, and that was that's Mushi. You know,
hmm
because I feel like you can see a and also we talk to the players post game interviews, and every single time they talk about how Mushi does, how he's a strict controller of everything, and how he does the
hmm
entire by himself and all that kind of shit. But like all the other coaches, who the fuck knows
Yeah, of
what they do?
course. It's like the number one thing is when Bulba gets flamed for random stuff. I know I'm
Yeah,
friends with Bulba,
yeah,
and so people take it as like bias and things, but I worked with him twice, and so if anybody has like a good idea of what he's like to work with, it would be me. And just take it from me, guys. And somebody will disagree and say, well, point to this example. But I will say he's a good coach. He sets a really nice, easy strategy for his team to follow. Does he fall short sometimes? Absolutely. But, does he have historically very strong results? Yeah, I mean, he does a good job. I liked working with him. I would do it again in a heartbeat. So, do I do stuff
okay.
for my team? Sure.
So can we clear up what exactly do you do for Liquid? Do
I
you
get back
do any
rubs.
strategy? Do you do any strategy stuff at all? Because people are under the implication that you do not do any strategy stuff. You are entirely there for relationships.
Yeah, let's just keep it at that. I'm perfectly fine with that. Honestly, like, this is a good test for me. Who am I trying to clarify anything for? Like, if
Okay.
my team has a problem with me, they can just fire me. And they know that I'm like financially comfortable enough that I would not be offended by it. It's like, I've offered to leave. They said no. That's that. And I'm not gonna like make it a bigger deal than it is, and they won't either. So yeah.
All right. All right.
But yeah,
I'll
first.
say it. Blitz is involved in the strategy of Team Liquid. He's
Mhm.
not purely there for emotional stability of everybody.
It's so condescending. But anyways, just we'll move on.
All right, so talk to me about like how it started with you guys at the start of the season, because I mean, you guys started off pretty hot. You managed to you started off also, I think, on a run up, though it didn't actually it looked that way at the start, like you had all the easy teams in the beginning, because you started off with cool guys who obviously was the worst team in upper division, and then you beat Tickles and OG, and then you were slated to play Tundra and Secret. And initially, it looked like I was like, oh well, they're making their way up the stage, because Tickles probably wasn't expected to be that good, and then OG, probably middle of the pack, who knows. And then Tundra and Secret were going to be this big scary ones, but it turns out Tickles was actually the one of the biggest threats. You guys managed to 2-1 them and OG. So that was like your first 2 weeks. So you guys had definitely a running start to the season.
Yeah, I mean, in the beginning, what ended up happening was, so me and Zai went to London to kind of, you know, uh, for lack of a better term, consummate our business relationship. It was like it
All
was to
right,
kind
all
of
right,
show him the high life. We took him
all
to a
right.
football
So
game,
more than just
obviously.
back rubs is what you're saying.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then we did
Okay.
we talked business, obviously, and he's like, "Look, you put the right roster on me, I'm in." I was like, "Okay, sweet. This is roughly what we think it'll be, anyways." And he was like, "Yeah, sure." And I was like, "All right, great." And then after, I think we had a really good time in London. I think I talked about some of it. Like we went to a football game, we went to a pretty cool
Yeah,
party.
you talked about the party that you went to, and you expected everybody to be
Yeah,
dickheads,
yeah.
and
And
it
we went
was
to
a good
really nice
life lesson
dinners.
for people. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that really helped reset Zai. And so I told him that I was going to go to boot camp pretty much like pretty soon after that, maybe a week or something like that. And he said, "Oh, I'll join you. I feel refreshed. I'm ready to go." So he arrived there a few days early. Then everyone else joined shortly after, maybe only like 2 or 3 days after that. Because I think if Zai's there and the rest of the team is like, "Oh, we should also show that we're committed to this." So Aiden, Boxy, and Mike showed up pretty shortly after that. Matu was a little bit more complicated since we hadn't, 100% completed everything with him yet. But
So is there anything you could say about that, by the way? Uh,
regarding what?
Montu's deal just took longer than
I mean, it's just
Zai's,
because
which
we weren't really sure who our fifth was.
I
That's
gotcha.
we knew Zai pretty quickly, I'd say, and the whole Matu thing took a bit of time to work out, just
Right.
because we weren't really sure who we'd get as our fifth. We weighed a lot of options. I mean, that was a really difficult time because I really wanted Max in a lot of ways, but there was just, I just think everybody wanted a fresh start, and it was just weird, and I always felt like Max would be okay. Um, and he had offers too to play after, but obviously he chose streaming, and he's doing super well at it, which I'm happy for. But yeah, that thing took a while. That was like an entire saga of a few days,
Mhm.
so it took a bit. So, anyways, we do that. We get to boot camp, and we just hit the ground running. Everyone's playing like 10 games a day. Our scrims are going horribly, but for some reason I feel good. Normally, when your scrims go badly, you feel bad, but the secret boys are telling me it's fine. These games don't matter. We're learning a lot. Um, and I genuinely felt that way. And so the cool guy series happens. Everyone's super relaxed. We even pick a pudge, pick there. We do some like run at you Dota. Everyone's having a good time. Like two sub 30-minute games, no problem. Um, and I think in this team we probably take the most breaks. Like we would scrim for like 4 days and then we would just chill. I saw some like alliance vlogs where, I saw that they were saying that they were playing all the time. Um, and I think that can work for some teams, but I just felt like our team it's a marathon, not a sprint, right? And so I didn't want to burn
Sure.
everybody out. So for some teams that can work, but I just did not think it was going to work for our team. And so we took it a little bit easy. We went into our Tickle series not really, or our OG series not really knowing what to expect. I mean, they had just 2-0'd Secret, so we were kind of scared. But the games happened. They were really close. I mean, Tommy's a beast. He's so fucking annoying to play against. I knew it'd be this way too. He's so
Yeah, you guys
talented.
had a 74-minute game 3 at the end.
Yeah. I mean, that was a real nail biter. I think Zai really clutched that one. He played extremely well. I mean, our entire team played really well, but I think our 2 new guys definitely, it was almost instant. I was like, okay, these 2 guys won us this game.
Yeah.
Realistically speaking, everybody put in work, but I really felt like Zai and Matu showed why we wanted them so badly. Um, so then the Tickle series happens. I think we had okay practices going into that. I think game 1 was we were kind of getting crushed, and then we took a really nice team fight in Dire Jungle, and then we turned it. Game 2, we got outdrafted pretty hard. It went fucking horribly.
That was a 23-minute game, yeah.
Yeah, I just remember I was like, oh god, we have like no OD counters, and Mickey was like, guys, this one might be a full sended game. And then game 3, they did like the sniper thing, and Mickey went absolutely nutty. I remember
Yeah.
Matu was like level 4 at like 12 minutes, but it didn't matter because Mickey was beyond godlike, and he had like 30k damage delta at 15 minutes or something stupid. Uh,
Yeah, I feel like by the end of that series, Mickey had solidified himself as like, hey, there's not going to be some like rough, slow start to Liquid's mid lane.
mhm,
Like Mickey reminder that Mickey is a mid laner and he's back to his role.
yeah, for sure. Um, and we played Tundra, and I think we were all really motivated to beat them. We saw a lot of talk that they were, preseason and during the season, oh, they're the best team. Like Tundra can't
Hmm.
lose. They should have made it to TI. They're gonna wipe EU this time. And I was like, okay, we're 3-0 at this point. We're the only undefeated team aside them. Or actually, they
Hmm.
had lost the secret. I was like, we're the only undefeated team, and yet, Kyle and Effie are just fucking. Oh, Tundra's the best. No, I said it first. No, I said it first. I was like, all right. I was pretty. I was pretty. I mean, I wasn't really mad. It was more just like motivation.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so then we hit that series pretty hard. Um, so then we go into secret. Uh, and I remember game 1 was like a real slobber knocker. We're going back at it. Game 2 is I felt like that was really winnable, but Puppy outplayed the shit out of us. He hit like 15 clutch nightmares in a row, and then we are like, oh god, never giving Puppy Bane again. And then we took it, and the game was fine. It was a close game, but Matu's Slardar went absolutely fucking apeshit and killed everybody, which was pretty hype. And that was like a really, really fun series to win. So then we take a break. Um, we don't get a schedule until like 4 days before our match or something. And Aiden had planned a trip to America to see some family and stuff. And that was pretty important to him, and it was pretty
Hmm.
necessary, which for personal reasons. And so we were really in the headspace to kind of play.
Yeah.
We scrimmed, I think, 2 days before our Enigma series. Half our team hadn't touched a PC in a while because we thought we were playing on the 15th, and then all of a sudden it's like you're playing on the 11th. Great. I was like, Aiden got back home on the 8th, and then we're like, oh shit, we're pretty fucked. Um, so we thought we had more time. I don't blame him at all, and it ended up not mattering. So then we were like, oh, we've got to win this Alliance series. I think we were way too hyped after we won game 1. We kind of thought they would just fold over, but
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah.
they. I mean, there's always been like a rivalry between us and them because they were the old Alliance. I think
Hmm.
we just keep running into each other. I think I told you that too. Like these fuckers, like we see them at every tournament. We knock them out, then they knock us out, and it goes like round and round. There's not a
Yeah,
lot of
yeah.
hate, but it's just like I think we're extra motivated to beat each other. So then, I mean, they came out to play and they looked good. We got away by barely anything. So,
Yeah,
but
that
it
was an
ended up working out.
alliance who had already been eliminated too, and they went out showing the fact that they're a legit team, and they're not going to stay in lower division for long. I imagine.
Mhm.
So yeah, then you guys, because of that, you managed to get first, no tiebreaker with Team Tickles. From Can I ask from like ignoring the rankings, who would you guys like for you personally, right? Matchups are important. So for you personally, who is like the 1 through 7 threat wise, like especially like the top three? Is it actually
Uh,
Tickles or because I mean Secret gave you guys a run for your money?
yeah, I mean, we didn't really scrim Tickles, so it's hard to say. Um, we had really good scrims against Tundra, so I think we felt really confident. We feel really confident against them, but I think it's like a lot of it's a playstyle thing, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I think Tundra on any given day is really, really scary. They might be right up there. I think OG, it's hard to rank them in any order, but I'd say like Tundra, OG, and Tickles in any random thing. It's hard to say
Okay.
because again, it's only based on what we scrim and like the
Yeah,
one
yeah, yeah.
official we played, and we played Tundra and OG so much more than we play Tickles. So um, I think we haven't really scrimmed Nigma. I mean, they beat us, but I do think like I don't have to really make an excuse. We got first, but I think that we probably weren't as prepared for that match as we were for the other ones.
Mhm.
We kind of took a long look at ourselves and we're like, wow, we were pretty lazy. Because once you win, winning feels effortless, and you feel like you have to put in less and less effort every time. And you keep
Yeah.
winning, and then you're like, oh, I can get away with a little bit more this time. So probably me and Aiden eating off the face of the earth for 3 weeks wasn't very conducive to winning.
Yeah, and you guys having the very first series, back from winter break. You guys were literally the first series out of all the series.
I mean, we were begging for a schedule, but for some reason there was some delay, and it was just like, yeah, you're playing the first. Okay, whatever,
Yeah, I think
run it.
things,
That was a good learning experience, anyways. Losing is good.
yeah. And then, so there was the tiebreaker, which I don't know if you watched the tiebreaker at all.
Yeah, we fiended the shit out of it. Are you kidding me?
Okay, okay, okay. So, what'd you think of the tiebreaker and all the series that happened? So we, basically had 6 best of ones that happened.
Bro, I don't know.
We
Like Tundra, we were crushing them, and then we thought they were gonna get dead last in this thing, and then all of a sudden they won like 15 games in a row. They won like their last two series, and
Mhm.
then they beat OG. They 2-0 Tickles, they 2-0 OG, and then they do it again in the fucking bracket thing, right? They ended
Mm,
like 7-0 to end the last 3 weeks. They went 3-0 in the ties. They were 2-0, 2-0. I mean, they were. It felt like they had so much confidence. Um, for Secret, I really thought they were gonna do it. Uh, but just felt like they haven't really had enough time to gel yet.
yeah.
Like I wouldn't worry about them too much because I think that they'll get better over time. As long as they don't tilt themselves, they're a really strong team. And Nigma, yeah, I mean something definitely feels a little bit off. Like they something feels a little bit missing. Um, I'm not sure what. They're really good guys and they're a really good team, but Europe is like it's a fucking bloodbath, and it's just been
Yeah.
getting better and better. I feel like in the past it was always like two or three good teams, and so you could sneak by with having some bad performances because you'd probably just make it TI or majors anyways, right? But now I feel like you just have these guys that just work so hard. Like nothing to take away from Nigma because they're a good team, but you get these guys like Tickles and Tundra that are just hungry. You get this OG squad that just like you can feel how badly they want to win, you know?
Mhm.
Um, and they're not afraid of anything. Like fucking Amar was like 6 years old when Curl won his TI with Puppy, like he doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like I don't even I know a lot of people get on his case about it, but like the kid's 16 and he's having fun and he's living the dream and he's beating a bunch of like TI winners and at the end of the day, everyone talks about like, oh, the honor of the game. It's a video game. Like calm down. You know, he's dropping oh no, he's dropping items in front of us. It's so disrespectful. How will I ever recover mentally?
Mm.
What
I
an asshole.
the biggest thing for me is what he did was clever. You do whatever you want. If it's clever enough, I'm down, you know?
Yeah, I mean, realistically, who is he hurting? He's
Yeah.
not saying like some really fucked up stuff. He's passive aggressively dropping some items, and like people are clutching their pearls as if it's like the worst thing in the world. Come on, it adds a little bit of personality to the game. My
Mhm.
thing that I would hate more than anything is if like our game became StarCraft where everyone was just like, yeah, we tried our best and the other team was good. And that's the post game.
Mhm.
Add a little bit of flavor. He said some shit at the end of the Secret Series. He's like, this puppy guy flames me in BZM. I was dying laughing. And and the next time they play, it's gonna add that extra oomph.
Yep, yep.
It's like it just adds it creates its own rivalry. It's so fun. Imagine if like I don't know, I don't imagine this happening, but imagine if like uh what's his name? Nisha just told us all to go fuck ourselves at the end of a game. Like it would make the next like 50 liquid matchups just so spicy, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like how are you mad at that guy? I personally don't think it's a big deal. I'm not stupid. I can see why people might have an issue with it, but I think it's the smallest thing in the world.
Yeah. I think that's, I think that's fair enough. We actually had an NA matchup where somebody wanted to call out their former teammate. It
Mhm.
was it was they wanted to call out Roya and I think it was Flea.
Mhm.
Um, Basically, Eve. He wanted to call out Roya and Flea, and he said, "I'm looking forward to that series because they kicked me from the team before, and they said it was due to lack of performance, and so I've gotten better, and I'm looking forward to beating their ass." And
Mhm.
I think that, yeah, they went ahead and did that. So it made the series so much more hype as a
Of
result of
course.
that interview. So
I mean, there's a level of shit talk that obviously I'm not okay with, and everyone will say like, "Why are you okay with some forms and not others?" Like, but it's like you should know the line.
yeah, you can kind of feel it.
I thought the Divine Llama thing was a little bit, or not. Who was it? I can't even remember. Scourge McDuck or something.
Oh
That
yeah.
whole thing. That was probably a little bit not so
I mean, that
classy.
was just cringy more than anything. That was
Yeah,
just
I was
like,
just kind of like,
what the fuck am I listening to? He's sitting there going, "Am I gonna do the humble interview or the based interview?" And I'm just like, what are you saying right now? That one was awkward. Did you
yeah,
see
but the
the
thing is, I'm gonna root against him because it's fun. So
yeah, yeah. Did you see the Alexa one?
no.
Oh, that one was a little awkward. I asked him about the upcoming series, and he said, "Yeah, we're gonna rape them," and it was like,
Oh,
holy shit! He's a Serbian guy, so
I
you
see.
could
I
tell the
see.
moment it popped out of his mouth, he was like, "Oh fuck!" And I had to do the host thing of like apologizing to the audience and like and he was still on the call, and so he probably felt like extra shitty, but
Hmm.
it's you know, one of those things. He'll never do that again. I
Yeah.
imagine he'll be good for interviews in the future because that only happens to you once.
Ah,
So
it's tough.
yeah, that put me in a very awkward position as host.
Oh, for sure, for sure. You know, uh, fuck. How do I say? Uh, I hope that guy just like he felt bad, right, when he
Oh yeah,
said it.
yeah, yeah.
I
No, no,
imagine.
no. Sammy boy messaged me and told me that like, hey, he feels absolutely awful about that. He's so embarrassed. Apparently, he came back like because there's a delay, right? And he came
Yeah.
back to the team call and he's like, guys, I think I fucked up.
you
So
know,
yeah.
obviously, no excusing that, but I'm glad it was just a teachable moment. Obviously, there's some things that like aren't, but the
Hmm.
guy, I think, hopefully, I have no idea. I haven't even seen the clip, but I hope, uh, yeah, I mean, just got the opportunity to learn from it.
No, it was very clear that he realized that he messed
That's good.
up. So
I feel like, yeah, I mean, you should still be given some level of room to like be able to grow and make mistakes and stuff like that.
yeah, for sure.
that does not excuse. Please don't misconstrue. But it's different because I was born in California, and it's like one of the most liberal states, and I had friends and family who instilled in me that that word was not okay, and luckily I was able to like grow out of it when I was like an edgy teen at like 14,
Yeah,
um,
man.
and stuff like that. But I don't, that's privilege in itself, right? And
Yeah.
for my own team, like Liquid had media training. Like, hey, here's why you can't say things, and not just why, or here's you can't say these words. And it wasn't just like you can't say these words. It's like here's why these words aren't okay, in like Western culture and stuff like that. And that guy probably didn't have the benefit of the resources that I have. And so it's
Yep.
like good
Yep.
to remind myself once in a while that like, hey, not everyone was born in the same situation as I was. Best that I can do is like educate and not just fucking kill them.
Yep. Yeah. No, it's definitely like I said, it was definitely a moment that he learned, and he'll be like, I have no problem asking him for interviews in the future because I could tell just by looking at him that he was so embarrassed that he won't make that mistake again. So
Good, that's good.
yeah. So, but yeah, I think a little bit of shit talk definitely helps make our jobs easier as talent. And what made our jobs a whole lot worse was the whole major not being there. But then Suns fan leaked the whole online major replacement thing,
What
and
did he leak
so
that?
he did it on his podcast.
Fuck, we gotta beat him. What do you want to know?
Oh shit! I don't know what's the juicy stuff.
No,
What's Gabe smell like?
I've never been in close contact.
Unfortunate. Well, the so that pretty much wrapped up the tiebreaker, and now we're going into the online major qualifiers. So you
Yep,
guys
yep.
are it's going to be you guys, Team Tickles, Tundra, and OG. So you guys are actually the veteran team of the top four in Western Europe, which
Hmm.
is a little surprising because obviously the last 2 or 3 years, your core squad, Insania and them, has kind of been like the not like total novices or anything, but like they've been the up and comers. And now it seems like with Secret and Enigma, a little bit weaker right now. It's actually these young, hungry guys that are coming up, and you guys are actually the experienced old dogs now.
Hmm. I mean, I hope if we don't win it, I hope OG does. I really want to have. I want to make this as publicly clear as possible. I love Taiga. I want the best for him. Like, I
That's
really hope he
nice.
has all the success in the world. Like, that's how I always felt. I was really hoping that they would beat Tundra, not because I dislike anybody on Tundra, but it would have been hyped to see them go like top two against Tickles, and then you know,
Hmm.
uh, it would have been like us into OG, and that would have been like my perfect dream scenario. But I
Yeah.
think maybe now we have to play them first. I imagine it's one place four, two place three.
I was literally going to ask you that. I've been assuming the same, that it's just going to be seeded based off of who plays where. So you guys are going to match up against them right away, which will be interesting. When do you guys start boot camping for that? I assume you guys have been
Uh,
taking a break for a bit.
so we started playing pubs again on the 25th. I think our last game was our last game was on the 8th. No, that's not right. Our last game was on the 18th. Yeah, I told the guys take like the week off and then start playing pubs on the 25th. Um, we scrim officially on the 3rd, I believe. We go to our
Okay.
boot camp on the 4th, or maybe it's the 2nd. I'm just let me double check for you.
Either way, that it's going to be about a week
Yeah, we have two scrims a
until your
day.
first match. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. We have two scrims a day until the 14th, or
Are
not
your
the 14th.
scrims 2 game series or best of threes?
2 game series. We usually
Okay.
play 4 games total a day. So it's
How
like
how does
two
that
and two.
regiment go? Like, do you guys play them? I presume you guys don't play them back to back.
No, we usually have an hour in between. It depends on scheduling. Like sometimes, for example, Spirit is like tier one for us to play. So
Okay.
we'll move a lot of things around for Spirit. They were good friends with we're a very friendly team, if that makes sense.
Sure.
Even before when we were on the come up last season, both squads, so we make room for each other a lot. Um, and so whatever they want to do, we're usually down for. It's fun to play them. Uh, there's like a little bit of an extra edge to it, you know. So
Yeah.
we'll scrim them whenever, and so we'll make some time. But most of the time, if it's possible, we'll have like an hour break in or something. I don't think that's weird to reveal that we scrim spear, right? It's like,
No, I don't think so at all. I mean, it's pretty much well known that people within the same region, while the DPC is going on, don't actually scrim against each other that much
yeah,
because obviously you're going to play against each other. So it's usually Western Europe plays Eastern Europe, right?
yeah. I mean,
So,
we probably scrim like Spirit and Puck Champ the most, and this was even before the DPC started. Probably Spirit and
oh
Puck
yeah.
Champ.
Could you guys tell the Puck Champ was going to be good? Because they've been my favorites for a while.
Yeah, so I don't know if I messaged you this, but you know when I said scrims weren't going so well, I'm looking at so really cool thing that Jabs and Chloe both do together is that there's this really nice scrim schedule doc
Hmm.
um where I can look back to our scrims from a year and a half ago and not
Wow.
just see who we scrim, but the results and the match ID and the draft and like who we played, like players and everything. It's a really nice doc. And so I saw that PuckChamp was kind of giving us the fucking hands all the time. And yeah, it kind of just blew. I felt like we could tell that they were good pretty quickly. Because they just kept beating us. I'm looking at this thing. They keep kicking the shit out of us. And yeah, it's I guess you can kind of just tell that because you play against them and they get better. And I thought for a second our team just sucked. I was like, oh god, we suck. We're just losing to these guys all the fucking time. Like I see PuckChamp 2-0, PuckChamp 2-0, PuckChamp 1-0, PuckChamp 1. I was like, oh god. Um, but yeah, we figured it out.
Yeah, that PugChamp team. So I was casting Eastern Europe, and I could tell right away. Week one, they came out the gate. They beat AS Monaco Gambit and Navi, and they looked so good doing it. And I was like, these guys are gonna be the team that tries to contest Team Spirit. And I was hoping there was going to be a better series between the two of them, but unfortunately, Team Spirit just whomped the shit out of them, 2-0 pretty hard in week two. But they still managed to clean everybody else out. So they looked a little bit. They actually we talked to them about it. They were a little shook by the way Team Spirit just banged on them so hard that they actually lost a bit of confidence, and their VP series as a result actually went to a game three.
Hmm.
And same goes with their series against Mind Games. But other than that, they were just like were clean 2-0ing people. They look so good.
Yeah, it's actually like the one region I haven't really watched, but I'm not surprised. Like looking at our scrim results, they beat the shit out of us. It was actually kind of depressing for a while. I was thinking to myself, man,
Yeah,
we
who are
make a
these puck
mistake.
champ guys?
God, we suck. Do I need to quit? We're not gonna win a single game in this DPC. Fuck, this blows. I was genuinely really worried for a little bit when we
Yeah.
kept losing. But yeah, we figured it out. You know, we turned it back around, and I'm pretty happy about that.
Earlier you said that the team secret guys, Matu and Zai said, it's all good. This is fine. We're learning. Was that do you feel like with the old liquid, without those two voices, would the old liquid be a little bit more depressed, a little bit more like worried about all those losses?
I mean, every single team I've ever been on since the dawn of time has always cared about scrim results to a certain extent,
Yeah.
and not just scrim result, but like the effort that you put into scrims and stuff like that matters even more. And
Okay.
um, you know, I kind of got on their cases, and Matu was like, "I will try harder in scrims, but you know, don't worry about scrim." He was telling me like, "I care zero. The vibe feels
Whoa,
good,
whoa, whoa.
atmosphere's good. You know, everything's fine. Don't worry about it. Like, I'm gonna show up when it fucking matters. I fucking did."
Okay, so was Montu that way when you were on the old Team Liquid with
No, but
Curl?
I think it was a bit different because it was like his first team ever, right? And so
Sure, sure.
he had a little bit less. wiggle room. Whereas here, we rely on him as our veteran. So
Sure.
Aiden is the captain for sure, but Matthew is a big voice thing. And if he says, "Hey guys, listen, it, practice isn't going well, but we're a good team, trust me," it hits a little bit differently. I mean, these guys have so much confidence. You have no idea, Sai and Matu,
Mhm.
and I think that's been probably the biggest thing. Is whenever I go into a match, I feel like they know what they're doing at all times. And it's not like Max and Tommy didn't, but it's different because these guys have accomplished so much, and their confidence. Because I would say that a problem with our team was like, collectively as five, I think our confidence was not amazing.
Mm.
Whereas, Zai and Matu are so forceful about it, about how confident they are. And this isn't just a knock on Tommy and Quakefa or anything like that. If anything, I think they're a little bit more stable in that regard, especially Quakefa. But our guys get nervous. Mike gets nervous. I can tell Aiden gets nervous from time to time. Same with Boxy, he gets tilted. Whereas like Matu and Zai are just like cool customers. Like we're gonna fucking win this game. Like
Mm.
relax, everybody, calm down. We're gonna win this game. And yeah, I mean, if you go into the games with that attitude, and our team is young and naive, and they believe them, then we always feel like we're gonna come back into a game, and so we play it
Yeah.
out fully, which is why a lot of our games look a little bit weird, and then people say, "Ah, you made this great comeback and stuff." But it's all part of the plan, baby.
Would any of that, like, since Montu did change, do you feel like that was just time, or do you feel like some of that was his time on Secret? Like, considering they both came from Secret, do you feel like that's a philosophy that they carried over from that team?
I mean, it's hard for me to say, because I think they said they want to kind of be liquid to be liquid,
Mhm.
uh, and that was like their own thing and stuff like that. Uh, But I just feel like they're naturally like that. I'm sure they picked stuff up from that team and brought it over too, but it's hard to see like what.
Alright, well, that pretty much, wraps up the team stuff. We've got, a whole bunch of other shit that's happening in Dota. I don't know, what of it you wanna talk about. Do you wanna talk about all the Valve stuff that has been going on? You got anything to say about that?
Wait, which stuff? Like the major and things like that?
Yeah, the major being canceled, the players and, some players being very vocal, about Valve not doing a good enough job, the change that happened with Valve, how uh, they apologized and created this online system. Apparently, there was a team meeting involved as well.
I think sometimes, how do I say this? Um, yeah, I mean, I think definitely it was very nice to hear from Valve like our bad. Uh, I don't want to like pile on the shitstorm because I know that people that work there are ultimately human beings, and for the most part, I like everyone that works there.
Yeah,
I've met them. They're real people. They're not just like some faceless entity that kind of just exists that I can like throw my hate at. I've had very good, real human interactions with these people, but
same.
they're not. It's not like they're infallible. They will make mistakes and stuff like that. And because the level of where they're at and where this is like our livelihood, these mistakes feel even bigger for us. Which they are obviously. They impact my livelihood. They impact the livelihood of the people around me. Um, and so yeah, I mean, I hope that they would take into consideration that this is like my life and the life of like everybody that I know and love. So it's easy for people like Quinn and stuff to get emotional, right?
Mhm.
Um, uh, and I can accept too that somebody. I think it's nice that somebody can swallow their pride, especially a giant company like Valve that ultimately doesn't need Dota. Like they would still survive. I saw a lot of people say that their reputation would take a hit. No one gives a fuck. People are still going to use Steam. I can be like, boycott Steam. What am I going to go to? Like some other game store? That would suck. I,
Yeah.
I play Pummel Party with my friends all the time. What am I going to do? Boycott and be like, I'll just watch through Discord instead.
Mhm.
I use Tabletop Simulator all the time. I play Back for Blood. Like, I play CS:GO. It's impossible to escape it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I do appreciate everything that they do, and I'm glad that they recognize too that they can do more. And I hope that the relationship works out better on both sides, and that teams are also good with their requests and stuff like that. and it's just like a healthier overall working environment. Sounds like I'm not being harsh on them enough, but it's just like everyone said the things that I wanted to say. It's nice to address the human element once in a while. I'm all about that like fucking forgiveness shit lately, not
Mm,
just piling on and getting mad about things. I think they realize at this point that people are fucking mad as shit at them, and rightfully so. But what am I gonna do? Adding to the tinder of that.
yeah.
They made a mistake. They're trying to fix it. What more like? Of course, I can just keep haranguing them about your mistakes, but it's like in a pub where you fuck up and some guy just sits there and says like, "You're a fucking idiot." You're like, "Yeah, my
Yeah,
bad,
yeah,
bro."
yeah.
But you're so stupid. Do you realize how fucking stupid you are? No, like they're people too. They fuck up. They understand the scale at which they fucked up. They're trying to make it better. They're trying to do a better job of communicating. I'll be mad if this leads to nothing, but I will have full faith and trust. And if they burn it again, well, so be it. I don't want to just live super cynical my entire life.
Okay. I think that's fair. It did give me pause that uh because I do feel like this isn't the first time that this has come up, but
Absolutely not, my friend. But what
you know,
what's our play in this situation? Like where am I meant to stand here? I'm
yeah.
not that
You
smart.
you
So
can
if
you do kind of have to just hope and believe in them
yeah,
because there's no other option.
they control so much of my game. What am I gonna do? You know what? I'm gonna
Yeah.
publicly declare on this podcast that 400 people listen to. But no, just like, come on. I hope. Maybe you'll say like you're naive and you're an idiot and you should be harsh on them. Maybe all those things are absolutely true, but I'm stupid. And if you can explain to me why and how stupid I am, I'll eat that humble pie, but I'm also okay just living in blissful ignorance and letting smarter people handle things for me, telling me how to feel. They're saying that I should be angry, so be it.
Yeah, I think that it's I also felt like I didn't have to say too much about it just because there was so much shit spread around. And unfortunately, with the just internet communities in general, once they start getting hopped on something, then it's like a race to the bottom. People
Hmm.
really start going to the extremes. It goes from like correct criticism to like a little bit over the line to like way over the line and not even like actually pertaining to the current argument. Like
Yeah,
it evolves real quickly.
I saw somebody say something about things like Reddit and Twitter. It was like once you understand the general sentiment of things where things are going, the new thing to do now is to find the harshest or like the most sarcastic take on that and go as
Yeah.
far over the line as possible. I've been reading that a lot in the NBA subreddit. There's this player named Ben Simmons who's, in my opinion, trash. I should talk him all the time on my new Reddit account, which I only use to post on NBA or NFL. But I think he's
Uh-huh.
I think he's Garbo, but people are talking as if he's like the worst player of all time and he would make every single team worse. That's just not true. He's still an all-star, but because public backlash is like so against him, now it's like you can't just say that he has holes in his game. You've got to say like this guy's so trash. He might make like 1 million a year next year. He's fucking garbage. Nobody wants him. It's like, okay, calm down. Like let's be reasonable here. He might not be like a top 30 player, but like he's probably still a top 50 player. He's still like
Yeah.
all defense. Fucking calm down. He's still a great facilitator and he's like 6'10" and he's young. Let's all relax a little bit here. So yeah, Quinn spoke very eloquently. I'm not gonna beat that. The only way I could top that is if I said something like more radical. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
dude, I own like a goat farm and like I don't know, Valve just decided one day they were gonna buy it to spite me. Then they put up a signpost next to my house saying, "We own all your goats, you dumb motherfucker."
Not much beats the metal cage analogy of a bunch of teams starving and then Valve just tossing in food every once in a while.
Yeah, like what am I gonna say to like
Not much beats that analogy, man. That was such a good analogy. Oh, fucking Quinn's hilarious.
Quinn is
You
funny. I
know,
mean, this man, he doesn't just shit talk. He really gets in there. He gets into the mind of like
There was I haven't actually talked to you about this because it just happened. You see the ESL bit? Well, I can't imagine you missed it. ESL being bought out by SGG, who's an extension of the Public Investment Fund, which is an arm of the Saudi Arabian government.
Yeah, I saw that. Of course I did. I'm not blind.
Yeah. I mean, just you have any thoughts on that?
Mm. You know what's funny? It's like, of course I do. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
but I don't represent only my own interests. And maybe that's a cop out answer, and I'm a punk and stuff like that. But
Nah, I think that's fair. I think it's a very, very touchy subject.
I saw something that Frankie wrote regarding it because everyone was getting mad about this like thing, and why she didn't speak out instantly. First of all, I'm thinking like this lady just had a kid and just like went through the most stressful TI ever, where everyone fucking just hated on her, probably like flung shit her way 24/7. Even if you feel like she deserves it, this lady just had a kid. Give her a second, fucking recoup. Not everyone just sits there refreshing Twitter and like looking for like the next take. She said something like, if I speak out on this and if I don't decide not to work ESL, then I'm pretty much done with CS, which I think she's doing right, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I mean it's weird because ESL runs and Dream League run whatchamacallit, the DPC. And so
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. It's
What it what I
fucking
what I
tricky.
mo what I dislike the most right now is the narrative that, and I feel like I watched this, I was actually watching, Richard Lewis and Thorin and Monte Cristo, and they were talking about this narrative of how, like, you can't get up on your high horse and, like, talk out about things, and, of course, they say virtue signaling because it's, like, the
Hmm.
hot word to say. But like you can't virtue signal. You can't like speak out about things because all of a sudden you have to speak out about everything. And I really, really disagree with that. I feel like people are just like I get to some extent that like if you want to like if you feel like somebody is being like overly preachy and like talking down to people and talking about how like everyone's so garbage and like how all their moral decisions are wrong or whatever, and then it is a bit of Schadenfreude to see them caught up in that same thing. But that's absolutely not what like Frankie that I think of Frankie, right? I think it's okay that like you can stand up for some things and not stand up for like literally everything. You do what you can where you can to make the world a better place, and that doesn't mean fighting every single battle. Just because you choose to fight one thing doesn't mean you have to fight everything.
Yeah. Did you ever see that thing I linked to? It was like the Copenhagen interpretation of ethics. I think I sent you
Yeah.
that article. It's like, if you guys haven't, it was a nice read. Essentially, like the idea is like that when you observe or interact with a problem in any way, you can be blamed for it. And at the very least, you're to blame for not doing more. Like, so even if you don't make the problem worse, even if you make it slightly better, the ethical burden of the problem falls on you as soon as you observe it. In particular, if you interact with the problem and benefit from it, you are a complete monster. Um, and I thought about this. I remember I was having a conversation with some people in the talent green room. The Drake music video had just come out where he did God's Plan, and in the
Hmm.
music video he gives out like, I don't know, like $1 million plus budget, and everyone was saying like how tacky and shitty it was, and how it was a shitty music video, and should have just donated the money like behind the
Yeah,
scenes.
he
And I
could
was
have
thinking
given
to
away
myself,
that money. He didn't need to record a video of him giving away that money,
and you are
right?
absolutely correct, and he absolutely did benefit from this video. It went viral and everything like that. But at the same time, like, uh, I don't want to call anybody out, but it wasn't like I was going around to like families and like giving away scholarships and stuff like that. I donate to charity here and there, but it's not like I'm actively spending that level of my net worth. And even if you say like, oh, $1 million is nothing to Drake, am I and the people criticizing that realistically donating on a regular basis the same level of our net worth to a cause
Mhm.
in any way? No. And he could have just not given out that money, but like that money did ultimately help people. Um, so yeah, I mean, sometimes like you can't really fix everything, but you can like the end of the article is pretty much just like, well, what if noticing a problem didn't make it any worse? What if we could act on a problem and not feel horrible for making it just a little better? Uh, what if we said that in these instances, these groups aren't evil? It's okay to notice a problem and only make it a little bit better. If everyone did that, the world would be a vastly better place.
Yeah, it's
But
it's
yeah,
been the internet trolling and of just like fishing for people to be able to just cook over a stove and be like, like why aren't you doing more for all of these things when like these people are just doing their best. They're doing what they can, what they not everybody has the capacity to be able to quit their job and go around doing charity 24/7. You know, I think it's a real bad place in our society where we can't just appreciate people trying to do good things where they can. It's,
for sure. I
it
mean,
like at that point in time, like why do anything good ever? Why
yeah,
try and help in any problem if you're only just going to be asked like why aren't you doing more for this other problem, or like if you helped here, if you donated here or supported this cause, why aren't you supporting that cause?
yeah. I mean, uh, I don't know. It's super interesting and weird phenomenon that just like exists. Um,
Feels like something that is very tied into the internet, this phenomenon.
of
Because I
course.
feel like in person that doesn't actually happen as much, right? I guess part of it is the anonymity of it. Being able to like if you do it in person, then you are also being like you're also putting yourself out there, and that person also gets to judge you and look at you and be like, okay, but what have you done?
hmm I mean, it's like this. I obviously have thoughts on many things that I am not. Let's say like I don't think I really love Liquid in the sense that I think they would support me all the way for most things. Obviously, as long as I don't say anything that like really hurts anybody. But even if I said
Mhm.
something controversial, I'm not sure. It's really weird because for myself, I can say these things, and if I get fired or whatever, so be it. But I also have a team. I have a manager. I have our assistant coach and stuff like that. And there are repercussions to the things that I say. And I wish people were a little bit more empathetic in that regard to like um, to the teams that will have to make some weird fucking decisions in the upcoming months and stuff like that. I have no idea what we'll do. I really don't. We haven't really talked about it as a team or anything. Obviously, things just happened. But yeah, it's a little bit more complicated than just that.
Well, I imagine, you don't have to say anything here, but I imagine nobody's gonna really do shit. I don't, I don't think there's going to be some mass boycott unless it comes from the ESL employees themselves, in which case, more power to them. I'll add my voice to theirs, but uh, much like all the other investments that the public investment fund has, uh, you know. Uh, don't don't expect people to be mass boycotting Uber, or I actually all I know is Uber, but I imagine there are uh, a lot of other companies out there that the PIF has their fingers on. So I imagine nothing's really going to come of this, and it's just going to be one of those shitty situations that is in the world everywhere, but now is a little bit more intimately in our faces in esports.
Yeah, I mean, it'll definitely be interesting. It's like a watershed moment, like what level of things are we okay with and stuff like that.
Yeah. It's pretty
But
much like, are we going to differentiate ourselves from like regular sports? Because obviously this happens in regular sports all the time. So
yeah, I follow football and Formula One. I'm a Tottenham Spurs
Formula
fan
One,
now.
yeah.
It's like, but yeah, fuck, man. One day, if I ever hit the lottery and my family can like comfortably live off of that, I'll publish a tell all about every experience that I've ever had in Dota. Thought everybody. Thought
Nice.
everything, including like everything. Because I'm not like I don't think I've done anything like terrible, but have I been a shitty person to people? Yeah, absolutely,
Yeah.
100%. Have I done anything that I think is irredeemable? Absolutely, but absolutely not. But at
No.
the same time, like I wish I could afford these things, and if I could also like tell all the homies like, yeah, I'll cover you too, and all the consequences as well. I would gladly do that, but I can't. I'm not even close to that. So
All right.
what a
I think
weird
those.
like non-answer that fucking went in circles. I don't even know if that's
Nah.
publishable. I don't really care
Nah.
that
Nah,
much
nah,
though.
nah. I think it was a good discussion. I think it was a nice big brain discussion. If it may not be what people want. People want like, you know, fuck ESL. I'm boycotting some shit, or like. But that's just not going to happen. And
I wanted to bring something up. I wanted to bring up
yeah.
two things real quick. One is so I noticed that we talk about Dota all the time, and I just want to talk to you about this. And it's not like a super private thing. Say it similar to the party
Okay.
thing and how I felt my worldview shift a little bit. I had something happen to me recently that also did this in some ways. Two things. One, I noticed when you send somebody a recommendation for something, it's like a 10% chance they'll take it seriously. But when you find it yourself, it's like 10 times better.
Yes.
That's not the mind-breaking thing, but I just kinda had that
Okay.
observation. It's like,
Yeah.
I started
Yeah.
listening to this artist, Phoebe Bridgers, which I think I sent you, and
Yes.
somebody I sent it to another friend, he's like, "I sent you this artist, like, 2 weeks ago," and I was like, "Damn." And I did listen to what he linked me, but I didn't like it as much versus when
uh
I was the one that found it. It's not like she's, like, some crazy underground artist, but it felt, like, more special. Maybe I'm gatekeeping artistry, I'm not sure. But,
Well,
yeah.
I'll be honest. It didn't hit me. So maybe in 2 weeks' time, I'll rediscover it myself and fall in love. But
Yeah, and, I was listening to something she said about her music, and it was like, uh, "My music is not for emo people," or some it was like it was more just like, "It's okay to sing about sad songs and it not be like your aesthetic. You can just it's a period of your life." I saw some tweet that she retweeted that was like, "1/3 of your emotions is like sadness, and it's okay to sing about it." And I thought about that in my personal life, like, whenever I get sad, I get really dramatic about it, because 'cause I'm a
mm,
dramatic person. That's why I always like reference Reddit and stuff like that, and I always try to make it about like versus them, which I'm trying to do less of, obviously. Um, and I'm trying to like evolve and really think about my personal growth as a person. Part of it that I realize is it's okay to be sad, and it doesn't have to mean anything more than that, if that makes sense.
yeah.
It doesn't mean that I have like some deep-rooted problems or anything like that, because that kind of does a disservice to people that do have like problems and stuff like that. For me, I can just be sad. It doesn't have to be anything more than what it is. Like I think when I was younger, I used to romanticize being sad. You know,
Hmm.
I think some of the Russian Dota community is doing that right now. With like the 1,000 - 3 or something thing, and
uh,
everybody's like
yeah.
emotional kid, depressed kid, sad kid.
Depressed.
Like
Yeah. Yeah.
there's just like it's like the wave in the aesthetic now. And yeah, I mean, I understand it. I went through that phase too. But as an adult, I'm beginning to realize, and maybe I made this jump really late and I'm a piece of shit, but it's not it doesn't have to be more. There doesn't have to be a deeper meaning into my life as to why I'm sad. Sometimes
Hmm.
I can just be sad and I can like sad music, and that's okay. And I don't have to like share it with the world that I'm sad or anything. I don't have to tweet about it. I can just tell my girlfriend like, "Hey, I feel kind of bad today. It has nothing to do with you. It has nothing to do with me. I just do, you know?"
Yeah. No, there was. I mean, as far as that aesthetic, wasn't there that there was some novel that set off like some movement. Was
Twilight?
it this one? No, 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 no. I'm talking about
I know, I was just
some yeah, yeah. Some novel in like the 1800s. It's like the young sorrows of like Anyway, it was a very emo book. I think it was, if I recall, like the main character ends up committing suicide at the end, and uh, the novel was well written, but it set off like this entire like movement where a whole bunch of people just fell in love with his character and fell in love with the idea of being this melancholy young artist, and a lot of people really bought into, as you say, that aesthetic. Um, but yeah, it's a whole lot more than that. Everybody gets sad. It's okay to just you can wallow a little bit in that sadness, but you don't need to make it much more than it is.
Yeah, like, bro, you're not unique. Everyone suffered heartbreak. I've been
Yeah.
rejected so many times. It happens, and that's okay. And you'll move on. Some people have genuine like mental health issues that they can't escape and have to like take medication for and stuff. That I is like 100% that sucks. But I can't relate to that because in reality, my problems aren't, they just manifest themselves in ways that I want to feel bad for myself, which is something important for me to recognize. That's like where I'm lucky. My
Mhm.
brain's not actively fighting. It's not like people with depression, clinical depression, are like weaker than me or anything.
Yeah.
Just some of the
You
fucking
don't have
genes
some
are,
chemical imbalance that
yeah,
requires
it's
you
like
to have medication to
some
offset
RNG
that.
shit that I want. And so it's like a disservice to them for me to be like, ah, I can be sad for a bit, and it can be nothing more than that. That's okay.
Yeah.
I'm not deep because I listen to Phoebe Bridgers. I can just enjoy her music for what it is.
All
Did I
right.
tell you?
Yeah, what?
You want to end it? We can if you
No,
want.
I mean, if you got more. I didn't have any more, so but if you got more, go for it.
Bro, I'm trying to cut right now. Wait, and it
Yeah.
is fucking miserable. For anybody that had to do it for New Year's, just stick with it, please. It's so worth it. I got up to like 206. Now I'm down to like 192, and it's a struggle every single day. But it goes by. And you're not in this alone. I really hope people know that. If you're like trying to lose weight, you can message. If you just want somebody to talk to and life's hard, probably like how many views does it get on Spotify? Like 40? You can DM me on Twitter. I'll read it. Actually, do it on Instagram at BlitzDota.
Instagram.
If you just want to chat and say like, "King, life sucks today, bro." I might not offer you more than like a, "Yeah, man, I completely agree." But if that's enough for you,
He
then
might respond, "Lamau."
Lamau. I won't trivialize. I'll just say like, "Damn, that sucks." And if that's okay, then you're welcome to like message me like, "Yo, we can go with."
Okay. Now I think is the end of the podcast.